everybody. So my name is Eve. This is Eve's Creations Paint Party, and it's How To Tuesday. That's why my camera's fuzzy. Hold on. That's why the canvas is blank, because I'm going to show you stuff tonight. We're going to practice tonight. Practice, 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 practice. Yes. So get out anything that you could paint on. Get out your supplies, and I want to show you brush strokes and color mixing. Alright, I'm going to show you all the different types of strokes and how to hold your brush and what your brushes can do and the effects they can make. And I'm also going to show you how to mix colors. Every single party I always use the same palette, so I'm going to show you how to take those colors and make them into the colors that you want. Hello, 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 Kelly. So first thing we got to do, of course, is give props to you-know-who. Say hi to your fans, Butters. He's a good boy. Yeah, he's a waggy tail. You're a good boy. All right, we got to give props to Butters, because you never know. He might want to join the party. You know what I'm saying? So, hello, 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 Kelly. How are you tonight? We got Kelly in the house, and Sheila is here. Crystal's hanging out with us. Hello, 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 Crystal. How you guys doing? How's everybody doing tonight? If you're new to the fam, let me know. We'll give you a warm Eve's Creations family welcome, right? Because it's all about the fam. You guys are the fam. You guys are definitely my fam. So, hello, 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 Robin, Tina B, and Pam. Hi, guys. How are you? Excited for tonight? Yes. Hello, 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 Carolyn. How you doing, sweetheart? Carolyn's in the house, and Susan is here. Especially Butters, that's right. Lisa V's hanging out with us tonight. Hello, Lisa. And Sheila. Sheila needs healing prayers. Yes, you do. All right, we're going to send them your way, sweetheart. Healing vibes, and hopefully you, your little footsies there get to feel better. Cindy's hanging out with us tonight. Hello, 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 Cindy. Hello, 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 everybody. And Deb is here. What's up, Deb? How are you, darling? And Joan's hanging out with us tonight. Hello, 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 Joan. Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi. Everybody's doing well, I hope. Yes. Hello, Kimberly. Hi, sweetheart. Kimberly's back for more torture. How you doing, baby doll? So, I'm going to put you guys in, I'm going to show you my table. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put you in the handy-dandy holder yet. I got to show you the table. Okay, so same colors every single party. I'm going to show you how to mix them tonight. The brushes we are starting off with are the exact brushes. Hello, 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 Tina M. How are you doing, lovey? See what I'm doing here, guys? I'm writing everybody down. Back to the table. All right, so the same brushes we use every single party. So I'm going to be showing you Big Boy. I'm going to be showing you the 3 fluffies, the mini-me's, the tinies, the nifties, okay? And those are the same exact brushes that you get in my brush sets. So, and since some of you, most of you, have a brush set, I figured I'll show you exactly what all those brushes can do. What they can do for you. Oh, yeah. Did I have a good birthday? I had an excellent birthday. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very, very much for that. And, you missed me? Hello, hello, hello. Yes, we missed Tina M. I'm glad Tina M is here. We got the second part of our the second part of our Tinas are here tonight. All right, handy dandy holder time. Handy dandy holder time. All right, so you're going to have to listen to me talking a lot, because I'm going to be explaining things to you 6,000%. All right, so this is how it's going to roll tonight. And the first thing you do, hello, 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 Mary. How are you, sweetheart? Mary's here. Yes, Kelly, my birthday was yesterday. Oh, yeah. All right, those of you following my little makeup hobby, I got puckers on, and I did a little dramatic little wing there because we're doing brush strokes tonight. So I figured I was going to try to do a stroke on my eye. Your birthday was the 22nd. Leos are in the house. Oh, yeah. Yes, yes, Tina M. Hopefully we'll see you some more. I appreciate that. So I got a roll call going on here. All right, so make sure you say hello, 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 and everybody's chit-chatting and talking to each other already, so, you know, I'll just stand over here and keep quiet. As a reminder, all my videos are kid-friendly, so I'm going to try to watch this thing. You guys try to watch those lovely comments of yours, and Lisa V, don't yell at me. I trimmed my bangs again on my own. And we'll keep this thing all family-friendly going on here. All right, so the first thing you need to do with your brushes, is obviously you put them in water. Okay, so I'm putting all those brushes in the water, all right? And when you clean your brush, you want to swirl. And the more you swirl, the cleaner it gets, even if your water's dirty. And then you're going to tap on the side, and then you dab on your paper towel. So when you dab your brushes on your paper towel, you want to make sure you go into the shape of the bristles, right? Especially your flat brushes, you make them nice and flat. And, you know, even your smaller brushes, like, you always want to make sure that you're going in the shape of your bristles, okay? So, 1 inch flat. We're going to start off with Big Boy tonight. The 1 inch flat. Like I said, I'm going to show you every single brush that is the only brushes I've ever used for every video. Hello, 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 Britain. And they're also the brushes that are in the paint kit. So if you bought, not paint kit, brush set. So if you bought the brush set for me, I'm going to break it down on what every single brush in that brush set does. Alright, April is here. Hello, 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 April. How are you doing, sweetheart? And that's what we're rocking and rolling with tonight. So there's no actual painting. It's a lot of this thing. And a lot of me telling you exactly what you can do with all of your stuffs. Alright, so we're going to start off with Big Boy. Big Boy, hello, 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 Marie. Big Boy is a 1 inch flat brush. Okay, and that is exactly what he is. He doesn't have any special numbers or anything all weird or anything like that. He is a 1 inch flat brush. That's what he is. Now, I did do a video that was supplies and brushes and numbers and explaining all of that. That was only like 3-4 weeks ago. So if you're curious about identifying brushes and what their names are and their numbers and all of that kind of stuff, find that video. I forget what it was called. It might have been how-to supplies, something like that. All is well, Britain. Thank you very much, sweetheart. Okay, so Big Boy is a 1 inch flat. So the flat brush is really cool. I'm going to grab white, and notice what I'm doing. I'm pulling the brush through the paint. Okay, I'm pulling the brush through the paint, and I'm wiping them on the side so I get a nice flat edge. Yes, that is in the supplies, April. That's in the supplies video, how to clean your brushes. I actually cleaned the brushes right on live. So, hello, 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 Marie. And, yes, so I explained that on that one. You know, I'll do a past blast and repost that video. I went into all that kind of stuff, supplies, and I think I'm going to grab Red because he's traveling over to the other side of the palette. So, nice, full, thick brush, right? And you want to make sure that the paint is only on the tip of your brush. Okay, so you guys see that. See, look, there's no paint here. It's only on the tip. Getting paint on myself already. Hello, 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 Maria Jacobs. How you doing? Yes, you remember. You loved it. Yes, yes. So that is where all that information is. How to clean supplies, what the numbers are on brushes, what kind of brushes there are out there, and everything else. Tonight I'm going to show you exactly how to use them. I showed you what they did last time, but now I'm going to get really specific on what to do. Okay, so if you are just doing your background, you want to grip in the center, a nice loose grip, okay, holding it like a pencil, nice and loose. Paint is only on the tip. Now, when you run your paint, when you do this on the palette, you are loading that up with some paint. See how all the bristles are saturated? So, you're doing great. You're having a wonderful weekend. That is awesome, Marla. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. And you're simply going to go back and forth. Oh, I didn't lock this baby down. I gotta lock this baby down. Okay, so you go back and forth in a sweeping motion. When it starts to look like that, you need to grab more paint. Okay, brushes are not markers. Brushes are not markers. The more you press on them, you're not going to get more paint out of them. Alright, and again, I am grabbing by pulling it with the brush. Now you can load this on. Look, it's still only on the tip, but there's a lot of paint on there. You see that? See that ledge of paint? But it's still only on the tip of the brush. And the reason why you only want it on the tip of the brush is because flat brushes, you want them to bend. See this bend? See when I put the brush on here? How when I sweep, it's bending, right? It's doing one of these. See that? So that's why you only put the paint on the tip, so you can get a nice press. And you're listening as you drive? Okay, Sue. Hello, sweetheart. So you get a nice press, and you get a nice soft layering of color, right? So it's nice and soft and smooth. See how smooth that is? See how smooth? And that's because I am medium pressure, I'm allowing the brush to bend, and I'm loading the bristles up, the top of the bristles with paint. Now, another thing that this brush does is that you can turn around and do a, hello, Carolyn, how are you, sweetheart? You can do a cross weave. Alright, so that's how to get it nice and soft and smooth. Alright? Load up the tip, hold it about in the middle, medium pressure, and let the bristles bend, and back and forth. Nice and smooth. Alright, you can also do a crosshatch. A crosshatch is a lot of fun. We've done them in some of our paintings. And I'm grabbing my white paint again. And I'm going to grab the red. Okay, and I'm leaving the colors separate on my brush. Now, you've seen me do this. You've seen me load this brush up with 4 different colors and then and then paint with it. Okay? So, we know that that makes this come out really cool with separated colors. Alright? So you turn around and don't pre-mix. You just slap the white and the reason I'm going pink is because my red on my palette started to drift all over the place. So I'm trying to get him back under control. All right, because when you do this, it might look different if we're using a different red, or if you put a little bit more white. Also, the video might be changing the tone a little bit. So when you do this and you go to brush it on, you're going to get, now I'm just pulling, you're going to get those separation of colors. Alright, so that is how you get the separation of colors. That is how you do it with this brush. Okay, now, then you leave it alone. You love double and triple loading your brush for such a great look. Yeah, it's really fun to do. It's really fun to do. Then you leave it alone. Like, you can do like 1 or 2 swipes like this. But I got those streaks in there. My colors are separated. Yes, April, that's how we did the texture. I still did a medium pressure. I still let the bristles bend. But I pressed medium. If you press extra hard doing that, you're going to wind up with it all mushing together, and you don't want it mushing together. Okay? You can also do this with a very light press. You don't have to press hard at all. Okay? So this is me pressing. I don't know how to show you how I'm pressing, so I'm going to show you. This is going to be a hard press. Okay? See the bristles all the way bent? This is medium, and this is light. Okay? So you can do a light press. No pressure whatsoever. Okay, and then you get like a softer streak. See how that this looks more blended together? And then this is even softer with very drastic white and pink parts. And that's because I pressed very softly. Very softly. So, that being said, this is pressing hard, right? Pressing hard, sweeping back and forth, and keep brushing over it. This is with a medium press. And then this is with a lighter press, okay? So, what I mean by press is how hard are you pressing the bristles against. Great for a water picture. Yes, Laura, exactly. So, when I'm saying press my brush, I'm talking about the pressure I'm putting on the brush as I put it to the canvas. Okay, so you can also do a crosshatch, which Lisa V likes very much. So I'm going to grab the dirty white. Notice again, just on the tip of the brush. And I'm going to grab my blue. Okay, so dirty white and blue. And you do a crisscross. So, now this is sideways and straight up and down. Okay, so the crisscross is exactly that. You're going crisscross. So you do one this way, and then you do one that way. And then you do one this way, and you do one that way. Okay? And you do these crisscrosses like this. Now, I'm holding the brush closer to the bristles, so I get more of a squared off effect. See how close my hand is to where the bristles are attached? And I'm using a medium pressure, and you could do this crosshatch like that. Okay? And you can get really cool texture looking that way. Now, if you notice, the more I'm brushing over it, the more it's blending together. Now, it's blending together, but you're still getting that crisscross shape. Hello, 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 Jincy. How you doing, sweetheart? I had a wonderful birthday. Thank you very much. Okay, so you can press hard, and your colors will be more blended, and you still get that texture. Now, you can do this really, really super fast. Thank you, April. You can do this really, really super fast, and you get a richer background than just doing the straight across. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my blue, and I'm gonna grab my white, and I'm gonna do this super, super, super fast. Thank you so much, Elvia, for the stars. I appreciate that, lovey. Those of you that don't know, stars is enabled. It's a way to send support. And to know what you're spending, it's a penny each. I also have Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal. I can share those links too. Okay, and so when you do this really fast, like this, see my hand? How toot, back and forth. I'm still holding close to the bristles because I want this to blend, 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 blend. Okay? And what this does is it fills in really rich. It fills it in really, really, really rich. And if you have a stubborn piece of canvas, it's going to fill that in. See how this is really soft? And this is looking more rich in tone. I know it's two different colors, and see how it has such a solid, solid coverage? Look, you don't see any white coming through that at all. Okay, so it's a more solid coverage. So that is how you do a crisscross. Boom, 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 like that. Boom, boom, boom. Let's crisscross our brush. That's a song, but it's not a very nice song. So I'm not going to finish the lyrics. Alright, so that's the crisscross brush stroke. Another thing this brush does, thank you so much for the stars, Marla, is that since it is flat, it gives us gorgeous lines. Alright, so I'm going to go right into my black paint, and I'm going to pull this nice and flat, Again, still just the tip of the brush, and see how razor sharp I got that? And that's just by pulling it across your palette like this. Okay, now to get a line. For me, I like doing the free-flowing line, okay? And what that means to me, and it's easier, this is for when your canvas is on an easel and it's right in front of you, because gravity helps you out. To get this line, I hold my brush all the way back here, all the way at the top of the handle. And I put my brush directly straight, perpendicular to the canvas. Okay, so, hi, like that, perpendicular, okay? So, doing that, and then you just pull, bam, just like that. The faster you pull, the straighter it's going to be, 6,000%. Now, if you are, with this is flat on a table, and you don't have gravity working for you, what you want to do is you want to turn around. I'm loading up my brush again. Again, key is to have your brush, thank you so much, Jincy, is to have paint on your brush, a nice flat edge. If you're on a table and you don't have gravity working for you, what you do is you hold your brush a little closer to the middle. Okay? Because you're going to be going like this. And if you hold it here, it's going to get sloppy on you, right? You don't have enough of a grip when you're working when your canvas is flat, okay? So when it's up on an easel, hold it back here, straight onto the canvas, bam, just like that. If you're on a table, you want to hold your brush more in the middle, so you have a little bit more control, but you're still going to work just as fast. And you're still going to put it onto your canvas to where it's perpendicular. And then you could pull, but you use, when you're on a table, you could pull. Okay? Thank you so much for the stars, Marla. You're a sweetheart. So that's how that works. Alright? So if you're on a tabletop, you still want to put your brush straight flat down. You're going to hold it in the center, though, so you have a little bit more control. And thank you, Marie. And then you're going to pull, just like that. Okay? That's how you get your straight lines. Now, what you got to make sure you do, though, is if you're going to be doing a ton of these, you want to make sure that you're wiping your brush off. You got to wipe the brush off so you maintain that nice flat edge. Okay? You want to maintain that nice flat edge. Alright, and I said I was going to show you color mixing. So I did half and half white, half red, half white, half blue here. Okay, guys? So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to turn around and show you how to do the color mixing. I'm going to show you on my flat palette. Okay? So if you're wondering about that, I'm going to get there. Another thing this does is the curved line. Now the curved line, you can curve your hand like this, okay? You can totally curve your hand like this and get yourself a curve. But see how thick that came out? Because my bristles turned with it. So if you're moving your hand to get your curve, you got to really pay attention to make sure everything's staying in line to do that curve. Okay, I'm holding it in the center. I'm giving medium pressure, and I'm still keeping my brush completely straight to the canvas. I have a problem where my line starts great at the top, disappears in the middle, and finishes strong. So what's going on is, Deb, is that you want to have consistent pressure through the whole press, number one. Number two, you want to make sure that you have a good even amount of paint on here and your brush isn't too wet. If your brush is too wet, your paint's going to go on strong. It's going to phase out in the middle, and then you're going to get the leftover paint coming down the bottom. So your brush might be a little bit too wet. Another thing is you want consistent pressure. Notice I'm moving my hand, my whole arm. I'm moving my whole arm. I'm not moving the brush. So you could be doing this too. You could be doing one of these where you're moving the brush. Okay? I'm not moving the brush. I'm using my whole arm and my whole hand and keeping the brush in one spot. Bam. The same with the tabletop. I don't color inside the lines either. So we're all good. Okay? And this works doing lines any way you want it to. But notice I am moving my arm and my hand. The brush stays still. If you're putting it on and you're moving the brush like this, and then you're going trying to get it to the bottom, what happens is you're going to get pressure here. Then as you're doing this, it's going to get lighter. And then when you get to the bottom, you're going to start pressing hard. And that's why you're getting hard, light, hard. Because you're moving your brush. You do not move the brush. You move your hand and your arm, not the brush. So you fix your brush where you want it. And move your body. Move the body. Move the body. Okay? You are not moving the brush. So, Deb, I think what you were doing was moving the brush. So you would start off like this, really good, moving the brush, and then you get to this point, and then you got to refix yourself, then you're moving the brush. Yeah, that's not going to work out. Move your arm and hand, not the brush. Okay? So, the curve. The curve, I tell you guys this all the time. You have to do this with your hand. Now, everybody stop and do this with your hand. Okay? I'm taking my thumb, and I'm rubbing it. I'm rubbing my fingers this way, and my thumb that way. Show me the money, right? When we were younger, I don't know if anybody remembers this. This was the sign for, thank you so much, Marla. This was the sign for show me the money, right? So, show me the money. You want to learn how to move that thumb around on this part of your finger. Okay? Now, do this, and then you put your brush in there. And when you put your brush in there, when you move your thumb and your fingers, it's going to churn the brush. Thank you, Marla. That was adorable. Oh, that was perfect. Show me the money. So you sent me some stars. I like it. 6,000%. That being said, hi, everybody. Let me share those links because I'm really, you know me, I'm not really good with the button pressing. So let me share those links to you guys. Bum, bum, ba, bum. PayPal. Bam. There's supposed to be a spot where the links are being, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what they did. So I have PayPal. I have, Cash App. Bam. And I have, Venmo. Ba, 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 da, ba. Da, da. There it is. Okay. So, when you do the show me the money, I'm scroll tap dabbing big boy, so he's nice and clean. Okay, when you do, I do have my coffee. I almost just put my brush in my coffee just now. So when you do the show me the money trick, I'm holding in the middle of the brush, medium pressure. You don't want to be pressing really hard. You don't want to be pressing really light because you want to have control. You're churning the brush. I'm going to grab equal parts blue, equal parts red, and some white. Okay? And then I'm going to pull my brush through it. So I have that nice flat thin edge. I think we've all done that. And now I'm going to churn my brush to do the curve. Okay? So you're going to I'm going to follow along a line I already did. Holding the brush straight up to the canvas. I'm holding in the center, medium amount of pressure. I churn. See my thumb starting to churn? Churn the thumb. And then bring it around. So when you churn your finger, when you churn your thumb, that's this piece right here. So I'm going to turn around and put it against my canvas. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to move my thumb to churn my brush and bring it back around. So that's how you do your curves. And you want to learn that because this move right here is going to help you so much. So much. You see me doing it all the time. And I know some of you cannot do that yet, and that's okay. It's going to take practice. But if you learn how to spin this brush, you can do a lot of stuff with it, all right? Because you can do curves. You can do the circles. Okay? By just turning your fingers, you can do a circle, right? I call that a push circle. So I loaded my brush up with paint, push my brush against the canvas, and then holding it really close so I have really hard pressure, and I'm just going to turn my thumb and travel my fingers. Turning the thumb, traveling the fingers, just like that, doing that curve. See my thumbs and my fingers are twisting, and you can make yourself a circle, okay, without like it even being an issue. So it's a push circle. That's how you do those, okay? So I'm gonna swirl, tap, dab, big boy one more time because there's other things he can do. I'm gonna show you the flicks, and then we're gonna move on to another brush. So if you have any questions for Big Boy, I got two more things to show you, and then does this look like one of those really cool abstract type paintings? With the lines and the circles and the all that kind of stuff. When you do a line, it's thin and then goes into a thicker line. Someone's at the door, Marla. What's happening is that you're running out of paint on your brush. So you, yes, April. No, this Friday's the Midnight Ocean. This Friday's Midnight Ocean. Next Friday is Frog. So what's happening is if you're starting off really thin and then it gets to doing thick, Joan, what you're doing is you're running out of paint on your brush. And when we run out of paint on our brush, our tendency is to press harder. When you press harder, you're going to be smashing the bristles on harder, which is going to make your line thicker. That's why I say a brush is, that's why I always say a brush isn't a marker. The harder you press, you're not going to get any more color out of them. Or if you do get more color out of the brush by pressing hard, you're not going to get a thin line because you're smashing those bristles harder, which makes them open up more, and your lines are going to get thicker. So basically, Midnight Sparkly Ocean, right? So basically, what's happening is that you're pushing harder when you get to the bottom of your line because you're running out of paint. So you guys got to load your paintbrush up. How do I'm not too fluffy yet, April. We got a couple more things with Big Boy, and we're going to get to fluffy. She's like, all right, I'm over it. I'm over Big Boy. Let's get to fluffy. Hello, Lori. How you doing, sweetheart? Okay. So, the next thing I want to show you with Big Boy, I'm going to swirl, tap, dab, Big Boy. And I'm going to show you color mixing right now. I'm going to grab my flat palette. Flat palette in the house. Alright, so I'm swirl, tap, dab, and Big Boy. And I'm going to show you some color mixing. Okay? And then I'm going to show you some tricks that Big Boy does. So, on my flat palette, I'm going to grab my white. Okay, I'm grabbing white. And I'm going to grab my yellow. And I'm going to grab my red. Okay, so white, yellow, and red. When you mix these, good, Connie, I'm glad you are. Any questions, simply ask me. I know it's a lot of teachery stuff tonight, but we have those every once in a while. So, white, yellow, and red is going to make peach. Okay, so I have a lot of yellow here. I have a little smudge of red, but there's red on my brush, and then the white. So I grab the white, I grab the yellow, and I grab the red. And when I smash it all together, you're going to get a peach. White, yellow, and red. Now, if you want this to be a pinky peach, you add more red to it. If you want this to be a yellow peach, like a yellow peach, you add more yellow. If you want this to be a really soft pastel peach, you add more white. Okay, so that is how you mix a peach. Equal parts, white, yellow, and red. And when I say equal parts, you don't have to turn around and get out a measuring cup or a little thing or anything like that. All you have to do... Oh, good, Susan. I'm glad it's helping. Connie, I'm glad it's helping. All you have to do is when you scoop the paint on your brush, you just want to make sure you're scooping about the same amount of paint on your brush. Okay, now when I tell you to load your brush up with paint, a trick you can do, now this is loaded because I just mixed these colors, so I'm going to scrape some of this out. So what you can do to make sure you get enough paint on your brush for when you're doing your lines, so you don't run out mid-line, is you want to do the wiggle wiggle. So you have your flat brush, you have your paint, and if you do a little wiggle wiggle like this, you're going to get this loaded with paint. See how much paint is in there now? Okay, so you can do the little wiggle wiggle trick. I'm going to hold back here. I'm going to move my hand, not the brush, and I'm going to swoop. See how I had color from top all the way to bottom, and that's 16 inches. That's 16 inches of color, baby. Okay? So I'm gonna wiggle it again. Oh goodness, I need help. Alright, so we're gonna wiggle this brush again into the paint. We're going to wiggle this brush into the paint again. I'm going to hold in the middle. I'm going to move my hand, not the brush. Gosh, D. And I'm going to give you 20 inches of paint. You ready? Straight up against the canvas. Same pressure all the way across. See that? I didn't run out of paint. And that's from the wiggle trick. Okay, guys? So, make sure it is what it is. There's not much I can do about it. Alright, the last thing I want to tell you about is doing the flicks with Big Boy, alright? We're going to be doing the flicks. Okay, so, flicking. And then we're going to move on. We're going to put Big Boy away and we're going to move on. Alright, he's nice and clean. Again, I'm going to put some paint on him. I'm going to dab and dab. So it's just right on the tip there. And you can do your flicks. The flicks are fun. The flicks are for blades of grass. They're for, I don't know, all sorts of stuff. So basically, all you do is you put your brush onto the canvas and you flick upwards. I'm holding in the middle, medium amount of pressure. I got white and peach on here, and I am just going to flick. Just like that. Holding the brush in the center, lining it up, and doing a little boop. Just like that. Okay? And what the flicks do is it, da, 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 da. See that? See how cool that is? Okay? And you could also do flicks with your brush the other way. Like this. And then you get the tall pieces. Alright? And all I'm doing is flicking the brush. Now, this brush is also amazing for when you're filling in. And I know you guys don't like the color in the lines, neither do I. But if you hold your brush here, and flicker-doos, you got it. Flicker-doos are awesome. You hold your brush here, so you have control. And say you need to color in something in the line, the nice flat edge allows you to do that. Okay, so you can hold it like a pencil, and you can do hard pressure, see the bristles bending, and you can get a nice flat edge line to that, bending your bristles, and you can color in your lines and have super control. And that's another thing this brush is good for. And you could turn it this way or that way. You know, if you want to get real, like into a little corner, you can get into a little corner. Okay, and all that happy stuff. Okay, so the next thing, let's do some roll call. Let me take a sip of my Java here. And April wanted to see Fluffy next, so I'm going to show you the Fluffies. So, Deb is here, and Kelly, and Sheila, and Crystal, and Krista, I don't know, I might have missed the L, I think it's Crystal. Pam, and Tina B, and Robin, and Carolyn, and Susan. Lisa B is here. Cindy, and Sue, and Susan. I said Susan twice, I think there's 2 of you. And Laura, and Lori, and Joan, and Kimberly, and Elvia, and Tina M, and Connie, and Mary, and Britton, and April, and Marie, and Maria, and Marla, and Carolyn, and Jinsey. What? And Tanya. There's a Tanya in here. I just saw Tanya flick across my screen. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Fluffies. So those of you that got my brush sets, you got a big boy, you got 3 Fluffies, you got a mini-me, you got a tiny, and you got Mr. Nifty's in the house. So, what you got to do is you got to beat those brushes up, those Fluffies. So we're going to start off with large Fluffy. And when you swirl tap dab this brush, Donna, hi. I think I got you, Donna. I said Donna, didn't I? Did I not? Maybe, maybe not. Hi, Donna. Hello, 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 sweetheart. Okay, so I got you now, girl. I got you now. Hi, Donna. Mwah. Hi, Lisa Lay. Yes, it'll be available to watch later on YouTube and my page. Okay, so Mr. Fluffy, you smash them. You smash them. You dash them. You play with them. You mess with them. Right? You're going to get bristles that fall out. You want to make sure that you, do this with your hands and your fingers and get all those bristles to fall out. You want to do all these amazing things. And when you do all these things to this brush, you are so welcome, Lisa. He will get fluffy. How cool is that? Okay, we've done so many things with Fluffy, right? We've made clouds with Fluffy. So, Fluffy, what's great about Fluffy is he holds a whole lot of paint. So, you can turn around and load Fluffy up. And number 2, you're not going to hurt this brush. You're not going to hurt it. There's no way to ruin this brush. So, my big boys, my Fluffies, all of them had the Bad Hair Day brush. I love it. All of them have lasted like 6-7 years of paint party business. So, you can't hurt it. Now, was this brush produced to be a fluffy brush? Absolutely not. N is here. Absolutely not. It was made to be something totally different. But it doesn't work as something totally different, as nice as other brushes. It works as a fluffy. And that's why I created using them as fluffies, because you can go out and buy a mop brush if you want to. But this guy, which is a mop brush, if I'm getting it correct, Lisa V can correct me. This guy still does more things than this guy. Okay? So, that being said, you can, was Fluffy a big boy? No, Fluffy was never a big boy. So, big boy is a 1-inch flat. Fluffy was sold as a flat. So, kind of, yeah. Kind of, sort of, Robin, a little bit. The bristles are different. Big boy's bristles, Big boy's bristles. Well, I'll show you on this. This is the same type thing. I got a 1/2-inch flat here, which is exactly like Big Boy. This is the Fluffy. See the difference? These have soft synthetic bristles, and these bristles are hard and crunchy. But yes, these are both sold as flats. That's the name on the brush. Because you see how it has the squared off edge to it? So, that's what it is sold as. So, is Fluffy a big boy at one point, but different bristles? Alright, paint loaded to the gills in here. And you can get max coverage. Look at that. Woo-wee! I just painted over our whole little abstract design. Okay, so he holds a lot of paint. And you can cover a lot of ground. You can cover a lot of ground with just having Fluffy. Okay. Now, I'm going to grab white paint. That's the peach that I had before. So, again, you can do the separation of color. So, I grab white paint. And when you grab your paint, you want to dab, dab, dab. So it works all into those bristles. And I'm going to dab, dab, dab this peach all into these bristles. Fluffy likes to wobble. Check the head on Fluffy. Check this right here, April. This might be a little loose. You might need to glue it. But he's a weird, he holds weird because he has a lot of weight up in the front and a thin handle in the back. So, yes, it went on sheer, Lori. It went on sheer because I did not have white in that peach. This peach had very, very little white in it. And that's why it went sheer. I'm going to show you now the peach with a lot of white in it. And it's going to have more coverage. Okay, so you can do these sweeping motions with Fluffy like this. And nice and soft and sweeping. Okay. I'm just going to scoop all this off my flat palette because if this dries on here, I am never getting it off. These palettes, no, no, no. These palettes, these plastic flat palettes, don't do it. Okay, so thank you so much for the stars, Robin. And second coat always gives you more coverage. And you can push on them. You can do whatever you want to do. That is perfectly fine. Because he does flatten out from being fluffy. Okay? But he has little pieces that stick out. So, but you can get a lot of coverage in a small amount of time with him. You can also turn around and mash him on your paper towel to get him fluffy again. I'm a little distracted. I'm putting a damp towel on that palette so I can get the paint off of it later. That's why I told you guys don't buy the palette, because when the paint gets stuck on it, you can never get it off. How much are the brush sets? The brush sets are $25 plus shipping and handling, Tanya. Okay, so I'm going to take Fluffy. I'm going to swirl, tap, dab them. And I wasn't... I hope you guys don't see my motive as being something as a commercial. Most of you on here bought the brush set. So that's why I'm going through all the brushes that are in it. So you know what's going on, okay? So is it pseudo commercial? Like this is what you're getting and this is how it works? Yes. But that's why I wanted to show you everything in it, because a lot of you already own one. Hi, Carol. It's okay. You're late to class. That's why you gave up on palettes. Yes, so those plastic palettes are doo-doo. Okay, so swirl, tap, dab. Mash, 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 mash. Yeah, if you have a stiff, bristled, old, beat-up brush, it'll do the same thing for you. Like if you get the stiff, bristled brushes, because they're very stiff, the bristles. Fluffy! So, I'm going to dab them into white. And I'm going to dab them into red. And I'm going to dab them into blue. You guys want color mixing? Equal parts, red, white, and blue. Gives you a very pretty light curl. Yes, swirl, tap, dab. Thank you so much for the stars, Lori. Gives you purple. Equal parts, red, white, and blue. What do I mean by equal parts? The same amount of paint for all three of them. That's what's on this brush. That's the lilac color you get. Now, I did it separate. I kerplunked it separate because this brush, loaded with paint, you can do these like mushy dabs. I call them mushy dabs because that's what they are. They're mushy. So this gives you an awful lot of coverage. You got to stick and move because it's a lot of paint. Notice I'm running out of paint on my brush. So now I'm pressing harder and it's becoming more mixed together. But when you're doing a landscape or you're doing hills or any of that kind of thing. So that was kerplunking the brush and using a lot of paint. Now this paint that's on here, if I want to soften this all out, I just keep rocking and rolling. So if I go over all of this, it's going to blend out. And my peach is still wet in the background, so that's kind of mixing in too. So it's going to blend out. So you can have all that separation of color, or you can just keep on going over it. Keep on keeping on. And I'm smushing. I'm just smushing, man. This is the brush that's the king of the smushing. King of the smushing. Oh, yeah. We're just smushing. Okay. And you get all that pretty fringe up here. You get a solid block of color. Okay, and that's what happens when you just smush and smush and smush and smush and smush with Fluffy. Smushing! Okay? I'm going to put him in the water. It's a giant... Actually, it probably looks really pretty from your end, but the peach mixed in, the peach that was behind it, so it's really this icky kind of yucky color. No, Jinsey, it is actually textured because of the smush. It's not smooth at all. See the texture in there? So it creates a texture. It's not smooth at all. The smush contains does a texture. Oh yeah, this palette's shot. Somebody asked me what kind of palette should you get. The palette I suggest, especially if you're just starting out, is the palette I use in my videos, which is this one. Okay, this is what I suggest. Yeah, it kind of looks like stucco. So, other things you can do with Fluffy, though, other than just smushing. Right? Let me show you other things you can do with Fluffy other than just smushing. And while I'm at it, I'll show you how to color mix the purples. Okay, so I'm doing white. This palette's shot, so it is what it is. I'm going to do white on my palette. And I'm not going to worry about it. And we're going to do blue. I'm doing this on the flat platelet. I'm doing this on the flat palette so you guys can see what I'm mixing, because I said I would go over color mixing. Equal parts red, blue, and white. Equal parts red, blue, and white. Now I'm going to grab medium fluffy now. So all the fluffies do the same thing, just different sizes. So, Julia Ann, hi sweetheart, haven't seen you in a while. So I'm fluffing them out. This is the medium fluffy. Okay, and to make purples, if you want a really dark purple, blue and red equal parts. Crazy dark. All right. I'm going to smash this on here. Blue and red. It's a crazy dark violet purple. Indigo. I guess indigo would be what you would call it. Okay, so what's cool about this fluffy brush is I did full-on dark color on there. Now, with mixing your colors, you guys saw I did equal parts blue and red. I'm going to grab white now. And I'm going to smash that into my brush. And I'm going to do light taps. Light taps. So this way, the smushing only goes in certain areas. And now it looks like I have a dark purple bush with lighter flower, whatever's on those. Anybody else try to think of words and you just don't have the word, can't think of it at all? Happens to me all the time. Now, with mixing your purple, you want to turn around and I'm mixing these two together. Now, the more white you add, the more lilac it's going to become. So, here is a glob of white. Okay. And the blue and the red are kind of slip sliding everywhere here. So, the more white you add, the lighter your purple's going to get. Okay. If you want more of a red purple, if you want more of a plum, you just grab more red paint and you mix that in and you'll get more of a plum color. Okay, so blue and red together, extremely dark. You add your increments of white and it'll get lighter and lighter and closer to your purples. If you want more of a plum, you add more reds to the purple and you will get that color purple. So this is more blue and that is more red. So now doing the red, so you can do these little pop smushes like this, right? Instead of smushing the whole thing like I did this, you're just putting these little boops in and making this separation. Now, the thing you want to remember, okay, so Fluffy does that also. So that is the medium Fluffy, and it's kind of like a one-shot smush. A one-shot smush. See that? Uh-huh. Yeah, so it is a one-shot smush. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing tonight, Julianne. I'm doing brush strokes and color mixing. So, and this, you press hard, right? You hear me slamming? That's going to smush all your color together. The lighter you press, the less color mixing you get with this brush. Okay, so the lighter you press, the less color mixing you get. So I'm kerplunking this in red, blue, and white. I just kerplunked it all on my brush here. And we're going to just do lighter taps. All right, very soft touch. Medium touch. Slamming it. So this is the difference. Soft touch. Medium touch, slamming it. Okay, see how the pressure that you push your paint onto your canvas with changes what comes out. Now, another good thing that a fluffy brush is, and if you guys don't have a fluffy brush, that's okay. This is kind of pseudo to a fan brush also. So, the same thing I'm doing with the fluffy brush, you could do with the fan brush. It's kind of like the same type of thing going on. Okay, so swirl tap, dab, get them nice and fluffy, and he also does the soft wispy things. So I'm gonna grab my white that's on here, and we're gonna do our soft wispy things. Okay, so wispy things. So, soft. Light, light, light touch. And this is how we do our clouds, remember? So I just start swirling. And you get these soft, soft, soft blends. See, and that's how we did our clouds, remember? And then you just build on top of that. And you do these sweeps. Okay, you just do these sweeps. So very light touch. Very light touch. Little bits of paint. And you just build your way up. And what's cool is it's all soft and wispy because these bristles are going in different directions. So you can do the circles and get the soft blending, which I'm giving a little bit of pressure to push the paint around and make it really thin, 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 thin. Now I'm putting more paint onto it, and I'm doing light little sweeps. I'm holding the brush in the middle. I'm using a little bit of pressure, not much at all, and a very small amount of paint, and we're going to get those sweepy things for like clouds and stuff like that. So it was a smash with a little bit of paint, moving the stuff around, swirling, and then grabbing more paint and building and just doing that little sweeping motion, and that's what you got. Okay, so little fluffy. Little fluffy's cool for let me get little guy out. Again, swirl tap dab. Smash him up. He's really cool for the same exact stuff, but also if you want to get like really, really particular about, so if I'm going to dip him into my paint, and I'm going to make sure I only get the tippy tip. See that? The tippity tip. And I could come in and get these separated dots going on. I'll show you a close-up in a second. So when you get just the little tippity tips, you can get these separated dots. And this separated dots is that, and light touch. Barely touching the canvas. And you get these separated dots, which is good for like the spray of the ocean. See that? So that's what he's good for too. Okay? The fan brush, a stiff bristled fan brush. Let me grab my smaller one. If you're going to get a fan brush, get a stiff bristled one. Don't get a soft one. A soft one doesn't really do anything for you. It's a soft one. Get a stiff one. Get a stiff brush. So a fan brush pretty much does what Fluffy does. Again, colors, right? So I'm going to grab this red. I'm going to grab blue. And I'm going to grab white. Equal parts. Smash it together, you're going to get a blue purple. You want more. So, fan brush, same thing. You just have to move it around because it's not round like the Fluffies are. But it does the same exact thing, the same exact way. You just have to create the stuff that's happening by remember, show me the money, by spinning the brush around. So, lost a bristle. Boop, boop. So, you're looking at the same exact effect with a fan brush. Now I'm going to grab just wet white paint. Just on the tip, smash it into the bristles. Everything here is smashing. Smashing, mushing, mashing, smashing. Right? These stiff bristled brushes. Okay, just on the tip, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to do the taps, churning my brush in all different directions, and you're going to get the same exact effect of the Fluffies. So if you do not have Fluffies, and you're looking to get a fan brush, get a stiff bristled fan brush, and you can achieve all of these same things. You just have to move your hand around, and it winds up doing the same exact stuff that I just showed you with the fluffy brush in the same exact process. So I put the paint on, now I'm putting white just onto the tips, and I'm smashing it in there. And you get the same exact effect as the other brush. Okay? Another thing this fan brush would do, and the Fluffies would do, is the flicks. Just like Big Boy, it'll give flicks. So holding the brush back here, loading the tip up with paint, you'll get the flicks with the Fluffies and the fan brush too. Okay, so they do that little flick thing. Some people use them for these flicks. I think those flicks come out too thick. I'd rather use Big Boy, a thin flat brush, for the upwards flicks that are straight up and down. Okay? So, he works for flicky doos too. So, fan brushes, stiff bristled brushes, Fluffies if you own them, that whole shebang. You can flicky do, you can sweepy do, and you can smushy do. That's all the doo-doos you get to do with those brushes. Alright, so I showed you how to make the peach, right? Equal parts, red, yellow, and white. You want more of a pinky peach, you add more red. You want more of a yellow peach, you add more yellow. The more white you add to it, the more pastel it's going to be, and the less see-through it's going to be. Purple. Purple is blue, red, and white. Equal parts. Gives you a nice lilac color. More blue, you're going to get more towards the violets. More red, you're going to get more towards the plums. So that is the color mixing. The other color mixing is that is making the shades of brown. Okay, so we want to make the shades of brown, and the shades of brown are literally every color on the palette. are literally every color on the palette. Okay, so bam, I got all the colors on here. Now, to give you the browns. How's everybody doing? You all hanging in there? I know I'm doing a lot of talking and this is very teachery and all that stuff. I hope that you are getting, making the wheel spin is going to help your creations be that much better. 6,000%. So, I don't want to bore you guys to death, but I'm sharing the info tonight. The vault is open. So if you want anything out of my little vault, which is very scary, by the way, ask away. If I'm missing your comments, say it again, or somebody get my attention. Just reach through the phone and smack me upside the head. Hey, Eve, we're trying to ask you something. Okay? And I love all the ideas you guys were sharing about the palettes and the whatnots. Alright, I'm going to grab Big Boy to show you mixing all of these colors together. So we're going to move away from the brushes for a second, because the next thing I want to show you is Mini Me and Tiny and Nifty. So there's not much to show you with those guys. So we're going to do a little color mixing. Am I recording this? Yes, Ellen. So what happens, Ellen, is that my replays are always available on my page and on YouTube. So, guys, if you're watching my replays on YouTube, if you're watching my replays on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing, okay? Because that subscribe button does wonderful things for me if I get higher numbers on that, okay? So, there is question. All fluffies do same stuff, right? Just with different amounts. Pretty much. Tiny, the smallest fluffy, is really good for those little dots. You can do that with the bigger fluffies too. So pretty much the same thing. The smaller fluffy, you know, the sweeping. So it's going to be smaller areas of paint, so it's going to look more drastic because it's like a thinner white line, and it won't be as soft. You're welcome. Okay, so color mixing. So I showed you the peach, I showed you the purple. Now I'm going to show you the beiges and browns. I want to show you the beiges and the browns. Alright, so I'm going to grab Big Boy. So, to do your beiges and browns, I got every color on here. I'm going to grab, first off, you want to make peach. White, yellow, and red. Equal parts. Okay? Mix that together. You're going to get a peach. If you're... Alright? Now, to turn this peach into a tan, you can either grab blue or black, and you want to grab the tiniest amount of paint you've ever seen. And you start working that in there. And that is going to dull out your colors, and you are going to get a tan. Tan. Okay? Now, the more blue or black you add, the darker this is going to become. So I'm going to grab another microscopic amount of blue. I'm going to put it in there. Now, if it starts looking too green, you add more red. If it starts looking too purple, you add more yellow. So I'm going to grab my red and my yellow. Add that in there. With the blue. And you're going to get a darker tan. Okay? So, the colors are red, white, and yellow. Make a peach. Once you have the peach, you're adding microscopic pieces of black and blue to it. Either black or blue. It depends on what you're more comfortable with. You want to use the blue, you can. The black does the same thing. Okay? And to get this darker and darker and darker, you're basically going to keep grabbing more of the yellow and red, even parts, even Steven, then more blue. Mix that together. Again, if it's looking to purple, add more yellow. If it's looking to green, add more red. And it's just going to get darker and darker down the line. Okay, so I'm going to grab yellow and red again. And I'm going to grab microscopic amount of blue. Mix that around. And put it on there. Okay? So that is how you go and do all of your colors. So you start off with white, yellow, and red, even Steven. Microscopic amount of blue. And then you just start grabbing red and yellow with the blue, red and yellow with the blue, and it'll get darker and darker. Could you start with purple and add yellow? Yes, but the problem is that the blue is very heavy when you do that. It's the same thing as if you started with green and added red. Because green is blue and yellow, and you add red to it, you're going to get browns. So, what you want to watch, though, is that if you're looking for the beiges, that's not going to work for you. Because it's going to be a lot of blue in there. So, if I keep, like, if I make green... I make green, right? Blue and yellow. Makes a green. And then I add red to it. I'm going to get a brown. It's going to be a really dark brown. And it's looking kind of purple. Because there's a lot of blue. I'll have to add more yellow to this. So, it's better just doing the now it's looking more green. See, that's the trouble you're going to run into is because purple and green have a blue base. So, there's a lot more blue in that pile than having the peach, the red and the yellow, and then adding the blue slowly. Because now I got like a green. Now I got to add more red to get that to look brown. Okay, so you're playing around way too much. And you might get frustrated because if you don't know about the color mixing, you're not going to get the color that you want. If you do this, white, red, yellow, add some blue, and then just do red, yellow, and blue, red, yellow, and blue, red, yellow, and blue, it will get darker and darker and darker for you. And you will be able to capture the tone that you were looking for. Okay, so that's how I would do that. Like, you're talking about wasting paint. I'm Scroll Tap dabbing Big Boy right now because, and there was so much paint in him. So much paint, but it was all like a green. Yes, whenever you're mixing paint, the one rule of thumb I would say is start with your lighter colors and add your darker colors as you go along. Now, when I mixed the purple, I went opposite. I started with the rich purple because you have to think to yourself, when you're thinking of a color, cool colors and warm colors and rules. April, I have a video on that already. How-to color wheel. That's the video. And it was a long time ago. But it should be on YouTube. I did warms and cools and colors and secondary, primary, secondaries, the difference between warm and cool. We went there, we did that. It's a whole other animal. So when you're mixing colors, you got to think to yourself, what am I trying to achieve? All right? Because if you're trying to achieve this, why would you start off with a blue base color? Now with the purple, I did it backwards. I did the darker one first and then made it lighter as I played with the red and the white because I wanted a rich, deep purple. If I want a rich, deep purple, I'm going to start with the blue and the red. Say I want a really light lilac. I'll start off with pink and then add blue to it. So you got to kind of think to yourself, am I looking for dark and rich? Or am I looking for lighter and softer? And that's going to determine which colors do you start mixing first. Okay, same with playing around with making green. Alright, so making green, same thing. I'm going to start off, green is yellow and blue. So I'm going to grab blue, and I'm going to grab yellow, because that's going to give me green. Now, it's a nice rich green. Then I'm going to start just adding white to it to get to the lightness that I want. Now, if I want this Kelly green, I add more yellow to it. Okay, so if you want Kelly green, if you want Irish green, if you want soft green like sun-kissed grasses, you add more yellow to it. If you want turquoise, right, I'm going to start with my blue, I'm going to start with my yellow, make my green, I'm going to add my white, everything's small amounts, all about equal parts, and then if I add blue to this, I'm going to get more of a turquoise. Okay, so this is the turquoise. And this is the Kelly green. So now I mixed the same three colors. I mixed yellow, blue, and white. More blue, more yellow. Okay, so see the difference there? So when you're starting with a purple or you're starting with a green, you're going to be using the basics. Yellow and blue. Purple and red. Blue and red. Then you play with adding the white. You play with adding more red for a more, the redder tones. You play with adding more blue for the more violet tones. Same with the green. You're going to start with blue and yellow. Then you're going to play with adding the white, more yellow tones, more blue tones, those sort of things. When you're doing the browns and the beiges, if you want beige, you're going to start off with white, yellow, and red. You want dark brown, you can start off with a green and a red together. You can. But I always like to start off and then add my blue accordingly or add my black accordingly to build it to the dark that I want. And half the time when I'm using my browns, guys, on all of my paintings is literally because I have the paint in a Tupperware and it wound up mixing all together. Because it's every single color. Brown is every single color. You're using every color to make brown. All of them. Okay? So, if there's a certain color you guys want to see, let me know. Because I showed you purples, peaches, browns, greens. Healing prayers for Lisa V. She's got feeties too. Sheila had stuff with her feeties going on. So that's the difference there. Alright, the last brushes, right? We have, I'm grabbing my soda. The last brushes we have are Tiny, Mini Me, and Nifty. Tiny, Mini Me, and Nifty. So, Mini Me. Mini Me is just like Big Boy except he's small. And I grabbed a brand new Mini Me. Mini Me we use as our crayon and we use as our shader. Mini Me is actually called... This stuff's so tiny on here. It really is. This is my can't see it face. It's actually a shader. That's what it's called. Okay? So Mini Me is for the zigzag zooms. Right? Mini Me is for the zigzag zooms. Okay? Mini Me is for the coloring. Mini Me will do the same exact stuff Big Boy does, except extremely small. Alright, so I'm going to grab the white that's left in my palette here. And I'm going to grab the blue. And I'm going to grab the red. Because it's all getting really goopy in this palette here. And I'm going to grab the white that's on this palette now. Another one bites the dust. This palette is toast. And I am going to turn around and put this really pretty purple color on here. Okay, really, 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 really pretty. Let's just get it all out of my brush, nice and loose and thin, right? Big Boy, we went over what Big Boy does. Okay, and Mini Me is called a shader. Now, he will do everything that I taught about Big Boy. He will do all of those things. Same exact thing, except really small proportions. Da, 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 da. But what Mini Me does is, I'm grabbing black, is our shader. Now, if your Mini Me's brand new, do not zigzag zoom as rough as you've seen me zigzag zoom. What you want to do is, if your shader is brand spanking new, you put your color on, you wipe off your brush, and you want to do pulls like this. Okay, see me? I'm pulling with the brush, and I'm pulling with my bristles flat. And then you can do back and forths like this. Okay, so am I doing a zigzag zoom? Yes, but I am not just flicking my brush back and forth. That comes in once you beat your brush up a little bit and you're not worried about keeping it perfectly in shape. Okay, if you want it perfectly in shape, you want to turn around and just do these sweeping motions and then go back and forth. I am a small brush killer because I start zigzagging, zooming, and beating them up and pressing hard. This is a very light touch, and you just go back and forth, and the further down you work, the lighter it's going to get. And that's how you get your shading. Okay? And you could do the same thing with Big Boy. Alright, so that's Mini Me. He does the same exact stuff. He'll do the flicky-doos, right? Putting paint on the tip. And since he is brand spanking new, he'll do the flicky-doos for me. Okay, he will do the line for me. Okay, so, all of those things. Yes, Mini Me is great for doing the feather. I think that's what we used when we did our dream catchers for the feathers. We did it with Mini Me. Okay, so you just want to be careful with them. And a light touch. And you want to make sure that you're pulling with your bristles back and forth. You're not doing this yet. You do this, you do the back and forth and the scrubbing. You do the zigzag zoom when Mini-Me is shot. See? That's a beat up Mini-Me. You see that? Look, he's all beat up. This is a brand new Mini-Me. He's still flat, he's still thin, he still has a sharp edge. This guy zigzag zoomed his way into my heart. Okay? So when your Mini-Me starts looking fuzzy, you can zigzag zoom your little heart out. And you still have your nice flat edge on either side. Okay? So he still works for filling in a space nice and flat. If you pull him nice and flat. So even though he starts to look like this, he's still going to do everything for you. It's just you can start zigzag zooming with him because he's no longer like this. Okay? Tiny. Tiny is, Mini-Me. Thank you so much, Annie, for the stars. Mini-Me, is that a number 1? Mini-Me? No, Mini-Me is not a number 1. Mini-Me, I just told you I can't see this, right? I just said I can't see this. Mini-Me is a number 4. Can you see the 4? There's the 4. Mini-Me says a 4 on it. But that doesn't mean nothing. The numbers are just to confuse everybody. That's what those numbers are for. It's all good, April. I'm just messing with you. Okay, Tiny. Tiny, to get Tiny to work right, your paint has to be a certain way. If your paint's not a certain way, you're not going to get Tiny to do nothing for you. So Tiny is an extremely small round brush. Using Tiny, you're using just like a pencil. You're doing small little strokes with them. You're pulling. Always pulling. Or dabbing. But you're dabbing very, very lightly. Very light dabs. Okay? I destroy these guys too, like crazy. So, but, when you're using Mini-Me, you can't use globby paint. If your paint's goopy, like my black right now, if it's goopy, this thing's not going to work. So this is goopy paint on here. Yes, the smaller the number, the smaller the brush. I covered that in my how to brushes thing. So this is goopy paint. And it's separating, it's going on thick. I'm not getting much out of it. That's the goopy paint, okay? You can see that it didn't cover the way I wanted it to cover. That's what happens when your paint's too goopy. So it's not the brush. It's not your painting skill of using the brush. It's the fact that your paint's too thick. So what you want to do is you can take your paint, and I dipped Tiny in the water, and I'm just swirling a small amount of paint onto Tiny, nice and loose and thin. Nice and loose and thin. Okay, and you spin Tiny in it. Spin! Basically give him a little bath. Load the bristles up. And then, when you go to use Tiny, you're going to get close up. You're going to get the lines that you want to get. So it's not you. It's not the brush. It's the thickness of the paint. Loose, thin paint. Okay? Medium pressure. You don't press hard with tinies. You press very, very light. You can do little flicks, flicky-doos, if you want to. You can pull, make your straight lines. Okay? Everything is pull. Always pull. Always pull. Pull. Okay? So you don't mess up that tip. Don't be scrubbing back and forth with this guy. Don't be coloring in with this guy. He is for small little lines, small little details. Okay? Yes, agua is necesito. All right. Mr. Nifty. Ba, 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 da, ba. Mr. Nifty is the same as Tiny. He's got longer bristles on him. Ba, ba. So, same thing though. Loose, thin paint. Load them up. See me squiggling them back and forth. Twirl them, twist them. Holding it like a pencil. There you go. Even smoother. Even smoother. Alright. The higher than, yep. So, guys, I did a how-to on supplies, brushes, numbers, types of brushes, all that kind of stuff. I did the how-to on that. Smaller your brush, tinies, nifties, script lining brushes. Okay, I have one of those in here. That looks like this. This is very loose, thin paint. So, dipping it in water, squiggling it back and forth, loading it up. Nice thin pressure. Okay, you get all sorts of wispy things. You can get your squiggle lines. Okay, this is called a liner brush. I showed this to you guys before, most of you. So everything, if your brush has small, thin bristles on it, light touch. Light touch. Another brush that's cool that I'm in love with, I've shown this one before, is the, this guy right here. Bam! He's for dots. So, same thing though. Small amounts of paint. Small amounts of paint. And you just do a little dab. So, that's the rule of thumb, guys. Okay? So, your bigger brushes, you can play around with how much pressure you put on your brush. You can play around with your brush stroke. You can play around with angling and turning and twisting. So, your bigger brushes, your angled brush. Some of you mentioned you got angled brushes. Your big boys, your flat brushes, your round brushes. Okay? Pressure and spinning and sweeping and crisscrossing. All of that happy stuff. Have fun and play around with that stuff. And you will get and you will learn how to use your brush to get the effects that you want. Okay? Your smaller brushes, I've seen those, Lori. Your smaller brushes, the funky brush I just called, it's called Dotter, because it makes dots. Yeah, right here, this little piece right here. So, your smaller brushes, your mini-me's, the tinies, follow the shape of the bristles when you paint with them. They'll last longer for you. They'll last longer for you. Smaller brushes, you do have to replace more often, especially if you beat them up like I do. So, follow the shape of your bristles, clean them very well. Don't let them sit in the cup. They sit in the cup, their bristles are going to bend. Okay? That's from being on the bottom of the cup. The bristles get bent. So you got to be extra careful with them. You're going to be replacing them first. That's all there is to it. Fluffy brushes, fan brushes is about smushing, a pressure, the amount of paint you put on it, how you put the paint on it. Okay? Covered that all today. The flat big boy brushes, again, learning how to spin. The right amount of pressure. Make sure your paint is only on the tip of the brushes. And thank you, Tina B. And all that happy stuff. So I hope tonight that you guys learned buckets. I hope that you're going to take some of this and be able to, you know, I grabbed my soda. I'm wondering why I'm thirsty. I grabbed my soda and I never drank it. and I'm trying to talk to you guys and I'm thirsty. Anyway, so play, have fun. Like I said, the small color mixing, just think of your colors, right? What did you learn in kindergarten? Red and yellow make orange. Blue and yellow make green. Blue and red make purple. Then play with adding one of those, more of one of those colors to it. Right? Like we did the greens. Blue and yellow make green. Add more blue, you get turquoise. Add more yellow, you get Kelly green. So play around with that and you will get your color mixing down. You're so welcome. Thank you so much, Tina M. It's great to see you. Thank you so much, April. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with me. Thank you so much, Mary and Jinsey. Thank you. And everybody else that was on my roll call this evening. And Donna. I'm going to say your name again because I missed you last time. So thank you, Deb and Kelly and Sheila and Krista and Pam and Tina B and Robin and Carolyn and Susan and Lisa V and Cindy and Sue and Laura and Lori and Donna and Jinsey and Carolyn and Marla and Maria and Marie and April, Britton, Mary, Connie, Tina, Kimberly, Joan, Alvia, Tanya. Everybody, all of you out there, my beautiful, wonderful painting, creating family. Y'all warm my heart. And Friday seems to be a fan favorite. Friday is the Midnight Ocean. The next Friday is Mr. Frog. International, yes. We have Canadian people. I've had somebody from Australia here at one time. I had somebody from Italy here one time. We had somebody from Ireland here one time. Butters is good. Butters is sleeping. I bored him to death. He's sleeping. He's like, Ma, shut up. Butters is my dog, Lori. So, who's Butters? Oh, Lori. Butters is the most important out of this whole video. 6,000%. Okay. And on that note, I love y'all. Y'all warm my heart. And have fun. Go create. Okay? Show us the Midnight Ocean, please. All right, Carol. Hold on. I gotta go get it. I'll go get it. Da, 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 da. So, this is... That's Friday, guys. Right there. Yeah, we have people from all over. It's pretty cool, right, Tina B? So that's Friday. Seems to be a fan favorite. We're going to have a full house of family going on. Or there might be 5 of us. Who knows? You never know. If you want Mr. Nifty's, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, send support. Thank you, Carol. You can use your black gesso. Yes, April. Thank you, Lori. So, you can start with a black canvas if you want. You can. You don't have to, but you can. So, absolutely. That is Friday. Next Friday. Eve, to use PayPal, please advise. Susan, I am going to post my PayPal link. You press the link. And if you have PayPal, you can send money through PayPal. So that is my PayPal link, sweetheart. There you go. So, the following Friday, we got Orchids and Mr. Frog. Woohoo, the frog. Yeah, everybody's liking the frog. All right. You love the frog? Cool. Yeah, he was my private party, so I figured I'll share him with you guys, because he's fun. So, yeah, I do the private parties in person, so I go to people's houses, and we do a party together, and that's, you get a custom painting for every party, and that's the image they picked. You're not the only one excited for the frog, April, so you're all set. All right. I'm going to say goodnight again. Oh. Come to South Carolina. Yeah. I'm going to get a tour bus. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, yeah. A lot of them went rogue. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, the in-person ones are a lot of fun. So if you're local to me, if you're in New Jersey and around Tom's River somewhere, you can book an in-person party with me. So, I love you all, guys. You all warm my heart. Thank you so much. And have fun and go create, okay? Mwah! Good night, everybody.